India's widely used Unified Payments Interface, also known as UPI, may no longer be permanently protected under a zero-charge system. The Lok Sabha has passed a bill that gives the government the legal power to allow banks and payment service providers to levy charges on certain digital payment transactions. But before you panic, here's the important part. This does not mean that you will start paying a fee every time you scan a QR code or send money through UPI. But certainly the move has sparked concerns as UPI has so far remained a free payment service for users. But in a post on X, Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman clarified the government's stance, ensuring that if a fee is put in place for UPI, it would not impact end users. She wrote that the merchant discount rate, also known as the MDR, applies only to merchants and not to end users or customers. She further explained that charging MDR would support the banks and fintechs to invest more on infrastructure innovation as well as on security. Now, what this amendment actually does is create a legal framework that allows the center to notify specific electronic payment modes where charges could be introduced in the future if it decides to do so. Now, these charges have been made through the Taxation and Other Law Amendment Bill 2026, which also amends provisions of the Payment and Settlement System Act of 2007. So what does this mean for millions of UPI users, merchants, and India's digital payments ecosystem? Here are the biggest takeaways from the new bill. First, UPI payments will not become chargeable immediately. The biggest takeaway is that the bill does not impose any immediate fee on UPI transactions. Instead, it gives the government the legal authority to introduce charges on certain electronic payment modes through a notification at a later stage. Now, any decision on whether charges will be introduced, how much they will be, and which categories of transactions will they apply to will be announced separately. But for now, consumers can continue using UPI without paying any transaction fee. Now let's talk about what has changed in the law. The amendment removes the existing legal restrictions that barred banks and payment service providers from levying a merchant discount rate on specified electronic payment modes. Earlier, Section 10A of the Payment and Settlement System Act prohibited banks and payment system providers from imposing charges on electronic payment modes notified under Section 269 SU of the Income Tax Act. Now, with this amendment, the center can now specify one or more electronic payment modes on which charges may be applicable in the future. Another important question is who could pay if UPI charges are introduced. The discussion around potential UPI charges has largely centered on the merchant discount rate or the MDR. Now, MDR is a fee that merchants pay to banks, to payment service providers, or to payment networks for processing the digital transaction. At present, UPI transactions do not attract an MDR, a policy that has played a significant role in driving the rapid adoption of digital payments among both businesses as well as consumers. So who is likely to be affected if MDR is introduced? If an MDR framework is introduced in the future, it is expected to primarily affect large businesses rather than neighborhood shops or small retailers. In fact, consumers meanwhile are unlikely to be charged directly. So if you use UPI to pay utility bills, buy groceries, or book cab rides, there is no immediate reason to worry. To put this into perspective, merchants already pay charges or card transactions. Credit card payments typically attract an MDR of around 1.5%, and in some cases, the fee can go up to 3%. Debit card transactions generally carry lower charges. Most importantly, the amendment does not impose any such fee as of today. It simply gives the government the legal authority to introduce an MDR-like charge on specified electronic payment modes in the future if it decides to do so. What are your thoughts on this move and on this video? Do let us know in the comment section below.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.